Hello and welcome back to Discraft's 30th CCR Open. This is Gatekeeper Media's coverage of round 1, back 9 at the beautiful Renegades Trail Disc Golf Course at Burchfield Park in Holt, Michigan. My name is Chandler Fry and I'm joined by Nick Hanson.
Hello, Chandler. I'm very excited to get into this back 9. We've had a good front 9 so far. I thought we might see a little more birdies. I know we talked about people getting into double digits out here. The wind has picked up, and that could be the problem for that. As you can see, we've got a couple bogeys on our card. Andrew Marwede, the only one to go bogey-free on that front 9.
Yeah, Luke getting the birdies, but also getting a couple of those bogeys, keeping them down at that 4-down level. But both of their games are looking strong, Luke and Andrew, and hopefully they can keep it going. And hopefully I can bounce back a little bit after my struggles on the front 9.
Let's jump right into it. Here at hole 10, 364-foot par 3, you have that road on the right side that is going to play as out of bounds. You'll see some players going around this grouping of trees with their backhand, right-hand hyzer, or even on that left side with a turnover flex forehand. Luke Taylor up here first, and with wasting no time, is going to go with that outside right route.
Yeah, looking for that skip to get back to the basket. That's a little longer than he'd like, but he has an opportunity.
Yeah, it's almost hard to get the distance just perfect because if you're a little short, you're going to hit those trees, and if you press just a little long, you're going to skip on the backside of the circle as Gavin's doing here, and you have the potential to roll into that out of bounds area, into that rough area.
Yeah, we can call it natural OB. It's rough in there.
It's not enjoyable, that's for sure. I don't want to play from in there.
Marwede's going to show us that left flex line.
And that is very nice. He wants to push it a little longer towards that tree line so he can get closer to the basket. However, Andrew Marwede, that's basically a gimme for him.
Oh, yeah. I'm going back to my trusty old ESP Force. A little wide there. But luckily it's very overstable. Gets a good skip and roll, and I'm right by the basket.
I think we got a CTP there for you.
Luke with about a 40-foot cash.
And that putt of his is just so effortless. It's almost always that same swing. It's a relatively quick up-down, I would say, but it just rolls off his fingers so smooth.
Yeah, it's a minimal movement. It's just easy to control. Yeah, Gavin's still struggling on the putting green.
It's unfortunate. He's been in position quite a few times today, and like you were saying, it's his first time actually playing the course, so for him to be in the position he's been in, he could be, I would say probably 7 down already with the putts he's missed.
Yeah. If he tightens it up a little bit, he's getting those double digits.
Andrew Marwede working his way there, and there's another good birdie for him to start this back 9.
Count it. Yeah, when he's playing good, you notice his putts are always hitting high middle. Like, there's never really any variation off that.
Chandler, have you ever thought of, or do you think of, changing your putt for the different baskets we play on throughout the year?
I used to approach it like I changed it a little bit. The form stays the same, but the power used on the putts changes up because some baskets can handle a bit of a stiffer putt and some baskets just can't. So it's unfortunate we have to do that, but where disc golf is right now, I do change it up a little bit.
Some good insight there. Here we are at hole 11, 732 feet. You're going to have OB on the right and left. The initial tee shot plays downhill at first, but then it's going to get to a point where it starts to play back uphill. If you can get to that bottom lull, you're going to be in a good position to attack for birdie. Luke has turned his quite a bit early, and I would say he's out of position here to get his birdie.
Yeah, decent spit to the left. He could have gone right or right behind the tree, but he still has a stance at least. Yeah, this shot's all about trusting your disc and putting it out to the left and having it fade back. If you're throwing the backhand like me, with Andrew, it's just about getting the power to go around those trees to the right. I'm throwing a flippy surge here, and it flips a little bit too much.
Ooh, just catching that last tree there. Might have been a good thing. You might have pushed a little further right than you wanted, but it looks like you're in somewhat of a spot to attack up to the
Yeah. Gavin, first time on the hole and just going for all the distance. Gets through that first set of trees.
Getting the little cut roll even.
Kind of a scary cut roll. The OB is located on the other side of the tall grass right there, so he is perfectly fine.
Ooh, and here's a good angle of that gap that Luke has to hit. As you can see, very dangerous with the ability to catch early, spit right or left, but he's going to be in a position now to get up and down for par.
Yeah, Andrew taking the high line, taking out those trees, connects with them a little bit, and he's left in a layup area. I was scared right here of hitting the pole, honestly.
Oh,
A little scarier than I thought, yeah. And I hit the one tree in the fairway, and I'm about 60 short.
Gavin lining the up and over route. Trying to take the trees out of the play like you were saying with Andrew. He's going to do so. Tough to see where that one landed, though. It looked like it was going to be a little short, but maybe it's just on that left side of rough.
I believe he is the closest of the group.
Yeah, as Andrew's just throwing up on his third, hoping to get a tap in for par.
Yeah, I think we're all giving this a baby run.
And no surprise here, hole 11 playing as the third hardest hole on the course.
Makes sense.
Playing at .4 over par.
Here we see where Gavin ended up. Not in the best of positions.
Oh. And another metal hit for birdie, but not able to connect, unfortunately.
Solid stuff.
Andrew just tends to seem to be going every other.
Which works.
You know?
Yeah.
As long as you're not taking bogeys, every other works. If you're 9 down at most courses, you're going to be in a solid position to, I would say, attack the next day or even be, up there contending for the lead.
Absolutely. And a course like this is where you need to do that. Every hole can be birdied.
There is plenty of OB out here, but most of the time the players should be throwing controlled shots and landing in good positions. It shouldn't really come into play, I would say.
Yeah, usually 30 down is that number we're all trying to get to. Gavin with the tap in for the par. Well played for his first time, honestly. Not a lot of birdies on this hole. On to hole 12. An absolute must get on the course. Nice little hyzer, 269 feet. There's the gap on the right that you just want to put something stable through and finish up towards the rocks. One of those holes that you can't think about too much. You just got to step up and execute the shot. And Luke leaving it pin high, a little bit of a tester.
I feel like it's sometimes hard to push into that circle, whereas that spot that Luke just landed is kind of the funnel spot for a lot of shots, where they just kind of land at the top side of that hill, about right side circle.
Yeah.
If they're not hitting those first available trees. But like you were saying, this hole does play as the second easiest hole actually at .45 under par.
Yeah.
Chandler, getting a little kickback and bounce there, bud.
So, quick story time. I had lost my Discraft Big Z Extreme in a practice round. And I put that Extreme, which is an older run, a limited edition from about 2013. And it flipped on me. And that's not a thing Extremes do. But I fortunately hit the tree, stayed in bounds, and gave myself a chance, which I wasted.
It's a pretty long chance, though.
Yeah, it's a chance, though.
It's a bit. Marwede from a similar distance. He does have those 2 trees on the green right in front of him. Gavin putting back towards that downhill and catching one of those trees. Likely going to save him quite a bit of distance on that second putt.
Yeah, that's an absolute death putt. If you miss it without hitting those trees, you're circle 2, which he is. Apparently
It rolled. Yeah. Wow. I thought that tree would have saved him. And catching him again, unfortunately.
Yeah, the classic Berdogey.
Going to be taking a bogey, it appears. Luke Taylor for birdie.
Prime position. Just plugging along. 6 down. Takes control of the card. He's got plenty of time to get to the double digits.
And, you know, this isn't what I would have expected from our feature card here today. It looks like we're about to play the hole even.
No comment. 2 really bad shots from Marwede and myself, mine being much worse. Gavin with the unfortunate roll away. It's just disc golf. We'd like to get the birdies, but sometimes you just don't.
Hole 13. Another par 4, 515 feet. Out of the hole, you need to have a shot moving left to right. You're going to have a couple bunkers here that are the sand traps, being OB, along with one right behind the basket there. In terms of distance, not a very long hole, so it should be gettable, but kind of a tricky line out of this tee shot here.
Yeah, touchy drive. The landing zone is pretty tight. We have to get right between those 2. There's plenty of landing space, but those 2 bunkers. And that could be achieved by quite a few different options. You got the sidearm from Marwede, the backhand putter from Luke Taylor. I am throwing a Comet on this hole. My preferred understable mid-range.
You've played this tournament quite a few times. Do you see many people actually try to attack that gap and get like a 60-footer or so?
Only in practice rounds. It never seems to work out. The risk is too high. If you're a little off on either side, you are once again in that Michigan shul, that the bush, and it is not fun to get out of, and it pretty much takes away your chance at a birdie. So I think most players are looking just to get that 3.
Gavin ripping a second there. Also catching a limb again and dropping where you really want your first to land, it looks like.
Yeah, and it's brutal to throw three straight times on any hole. He still has that tight gap to navigate. Leaves it about 15 short. Good looking shot. Should be able to get a par. I've also seen plenty of people try to go over the top, and that seems to fail all the time as well.
Oh, and Marwede trying to push that right side and unfortunately catching it before he can start hyzering back towards the basket.
But still a fortunate kick. If that doesn't hit that tree, he is deep.
Luke Taylor not getting enough turn on his disc. He's going to hit on that left side and drop down probably about 60 short.
Yeah, somewhat uncharacteristic of what we've seen from him this round. I'm going 2020 Tour Series Luna. Just nice and soft with an overstable putter.
So buttery.
So buttery.
Do you have any tips for throwing flat putter shots like that for the folks at home?
Yeah. Get a Luna.
I feel like that's the best answer.
Honestly, though, finding a throwing putter that you're comfortable with, that feels good in your hand, it'll change your game. A disc that you can throw from the tee pad. If you can throw a putter, you can throw any disc.
That's what I was always told when I started playing, was find a putter that you love to throw. Luke Taylor running one. Wow. Even with that OB behind. No fear from these kids these days.
That's what I'm talking about. They're aggressive. Always bullying me. Calm down, kids. Marwede with the par. This is definitely one of the easier holes on the course. And there's the classic bag tap in.
Yeah, this one played at 0.35 under par.
Moving on to another fairly simple hole. Hole 14, 351 feet. It's pretty straightforward. The basket is located up on this spine, so the rollaway potential is real. You'll be seeing sidearms. I'm throwing a test flight Athena on this hole. Just kind of trying to give it some height, letting its stability pan out, finish towards the basket.
Ooh.
I put a little bit too much on it.
Was that right side or left side of the basket?
That was left side chain high of the basket. Out of my hand, I thought I shanked it.
Wow.
But the Athena has some good stability, came back, flashed the chains.
Luke getting a nice flip up to his sidearm there. Hitting that hillside perfect. This stopping dead in its tracks, and he's going to have an easy look for birdie.
Marwede a little lower, trying to follow those vapor trails from Luke's drive.
Pretty darn close to it.
Pretty good. And Gavin opting for the forehand.
A little higher. I think this one's going to push right over that hill. It sure does. Going to get into that stuff there. Probably looking at a circle 2 look. And, yeah, not very good from in here.
A decent bid. Yeah, there's me in the forest. This wasn't a weird putt because I can only move my arms.
Oh, but that's all you need, Chandler.
Apparently, yeah. There's no lower body involved on that. It was all elbow and wrist.
Getting his second birdie in a row here. And 4 down.
Catching fire.
Hey, if you make a push on these last few holes, you're going to be up there in the mix. Gavin getting his par, unfortunately. Having a little bit of struggle here with getting the birdies on this back 9. The back 9 is a little more difficult than the front 9, although just as scoreable. A few tighter lines, but still want to be racking up those birdies.
Yeah, the metal hits and his being in such good position on the front 9 and not getting the birdies might be impacting him a little bit, knowing that the round's coming to a close and he has to get a few more to turn in something respectable. But sometimes it's just not your day, you know? It's Luke Taylor's day, though.
You know, he's really been playing good overall golf for most of the season so far, I would say. It's fun to watch as he progresses, at his local A tiers here for this and also on the tour.
Yeah, like when I think of a player who, just from the Michigan locals, who might win any A tier, like local A tier, Luke's right up there with Marwede, Tim Barham, all those guys. Hole 15, 344 feet. This is a tough little hole. There's OB pockets on the right and left with OB lined alongside the left and right. And this is not the best shot. Not much to say about that. What you want to do is throw a mid-range or a fairway down the middle and have it finish left, but not too long and not too short because you will find it the OB. Yeah, that pushes through the tree.
You know, if you hit that tree and you trickle through just even a little bit, you're either going to be right outside a circle or inside circle. I talked to Luke, later in the weekend, and he said on this hole, basically, that's what he's trying to do.
Just hit that tree.
And give himself a look.
I like that.
Which, makes sense for...
I'm just hearing a lot of advice that I could have used before the round started. So...
maybe next year we'll chit-chat.
Next year, just talk to me before the round, and maybe I can score a few strokes better.
Ooh, Gavin, it looks like jumping out of that OB bunker right there.
Just pulling out my Chanimal OS.
Making easy work of that upshot. Gonna be able to get your 3. Gavin,
good.
Getting the birdie.
Yeah, you can tell by his body language it's going to take a lot more than a big putt to make him happy right now. Luke with a similar distance, maybe a little bit closer. He's on it.
Man, that putt right now is looking awesome.
He's got that confident swagger going up to the basket.
Yep. He's got that same smooth up-down stroke, and it's working for him.
Yeah. Consistency is one of his skills for sure.
And speaking of consistency, Andrew Marwede within the circle is basically automatic.
Mr. Consistent. Right now, currently top in the Disc Golf Pro Tour C1 stats.
No surprise.
Absolutely killing it. Followed closely by James Proctor and myself.
At Discraft, we don't wait to see what the future holds. We build it. The future is in your hands.
Great Lakes Disc, located in Grand Rapids, Michigan, is a fully stocked retail disc golf store that fulfills all of your disc golf needs. We carry all of the major manufacturers, accessories, and offer player and event sponsorship, along with tournament payout assistance. To learn more about Great Lakes Disc, visit greatlakesdisc.com.
All right. Back to the woods a little bit here for hole 16. We've got a tight 300-foot par 3. Playing a little bit downhill and then back uphill, but from the tee pad, it's basically even. Kind of a little ace run here to end the round.
Yeah. What do you throw on this hole?
I just throw a mid-range. I can get a putter there, but I'd rather throw a mid-range to, try and get one to the basket, potentially, throw it in with the backstop there.
I like it. Yeah, Luke misfiring a little bit and putting it out into the shul on the right. Marwede with a textbook sidearm.
Where he landed and started to skip, that's usually my landing zone. It kind of skips left a little bit, but gives myself a 30-footer on it.
What do you think I'm throwing here?
I'm going to go with a comment.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so good, so good, so good, so bad.
Ooh.
That's the one tree you can't hit if you're going
Leaves
backhand.
you so short. Comparable. Sure, you're only,
Yeah, it just goes from an ace run to a 50-foot putt.
tester.
Yeah,
Big tester.
big tester.
Oh, and just
I took a step towards it.
little short.
Yeah. Gavin and my body English or body language are not too positive right now.
No. You guys are knowing that you need more out of this round. Plenty of golf left, but
But now we're at the point where there's no way to fix it. Yeah,
there's only a couple holes left and kind of just scraping along.
Yeah, a couple birdie holes, but even with our scores right now, we're not going to be too content with the results. Marwede with the tap in.
It's funny how we, for him, talk about a 22-footer as a tap-in, but there's times where, even many of players you talk about a 22-footer, and depending on the wind, it could be a tester for that day.
Yeah, I don't consider 20 feet a tap in, but when I watch Marwede play, 20 feet is definitely in the tap in range.
Luke and Marwede grabbing some birdies there, and we're going to move on to the easiest hole on the course. Hole 17, 180 feet, island green. Everything outside the island plays as a hazard, so you're playing from your lie with a one-stroke penalty. If you can throw a sidearm, you really just need to throw it into the trees up top, and it's just going to trickle down to the basket.
For me, this hole is terrifying. My round is not, I'm not content with anything until this hole's over. I'm not for sure of my score or how I feel about anything until I putt in on this hole. I don't know why. It just terrifies me. Going for the ace run, Andy hits a tree.
All right, out of 75 players, how many do you think birdied?
42.
That's a good guess. Oh, what kind of sidearm is that?
That's so bad.
Oh my goodness. You caught the tallest pole
Yep.
on the fence
Yep.
and stayed in bounds.
I called it too. I said the 28th pole from the middle on the right. I'm hitting that, staying in.
Andrew's going to grab his birdie. And a little off on the birdie count.
Okay.
65 total.
Wow.
Playing at .8 under par.
I don't get it. I have forward this hole so many times. But I should have forwarded that time, honestly.
Not today, though.
Yeah, thanks to those little that little fence. I gave it a little love there.
Hey, you got to when it happens. All right, we're on to our final hole of the day. Hole 18, 399 feet. You do have OB on the far left side. It shouldn't come into play for any of these players. Throwing down the tunnel and then hyzering before that back wall is going to be ideal. It'll get you inside the circle for a putt.
Yeah, the play on this hole used to be over the top left side with something understable that flexed towards the basket, but it has since grown up. So this is a play you'll be seeing mostly from our players. Just something overstable, fast, pushing that back wall, hyzering out, hopefully skipping towards the bucket. How often do we see waterfalls in disc golf in general, but definitely on greens? It's pretty uncommon.
Very uncommon, but I do enjoy it myself.
Yeah. Don't drink the water, though.
No, definitely not.
Gavin following Marwede, branch and all, pushing a little long.
Yeah, I think the shot is just a more committed hyzer, so that way it's pushing left the entire way instead of doing that little stand.
Yeah, something like this.
Looks like you're doing exactly that, and just like that, you're going to find yourself at the edge of circle.
Yeah, my goal is to give myself a circle 2 look on this one. I love putting at this basket.
Pretty cool finishing green, honestly.
Yeah.
You don't see a lot of greens like this in disc golf in
Yeah.
general.
The Capital City Renegades, the local club from Lansing, Michigan, putting work into this place, and it shows. Got to give a shout out to Wes Shinovar. We call him Team Stamp West. Fantastic TD, fantastic friend. He always puts on a good show and a good tournament. I told Luke Taylor around this putt, 6 down sounds a lot better than 5 down, so I'm definitely gunning for it.
For our lone birdie on the card, potentially. And there it is. Way to close out your round there.
Yeah.
6 down, I'm sure, is not what you want, but, it leaves you in the mix.
Oh, we got a little rewind there.
Oh, that is well deserved. There's a little smile out of you finally.
Yeah.
Is it a smile that the round's over, or is it a smile that you made your putt?
A little bit of both. It was a tough round mentally and physically. It's hot out there. I'm not built for the heat. But here's for that a par to finish 10 down on the round. Pretty hot. He'll be happy with that round. It puts him in great position, puts him on the lead card. And this is for a nice little 9 down. Also not too shabby. But even his 9 down, there's a couple mistakes he made, a couple missed opportunities. So even Andrew's going home thinking, man, if I had just gotten hole 4, hole 7. But 9 down, not that bad. 3 down and 6 down, though, not great.
Not what you're looking for here from our feature card today. A little less red on this back 9. Good job for the group. Luke, like you said, at 10, Andrew at 9, yourself at 6, and Gavin at 3 under. Going into round 2 tomorrow, we'll be at River's Edge. Here's a quick look at our leaderboard. No surprise, really, there.
Yeah, a few Michigan's finest, Dylan Lotek, Austin Bates, getting some good scores out there, and in good position for tomorrow. Thank you for joining us for round 1 coverage of the CCR Open. Hope you had a great time. Please join us for round 2 coverage at River's Edge Disc Golf Course, located on the same property. For myself, Chandler, and Nick Hanson, thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.
As always, like, share, and subscribe.